Good evening, Drew.
As always, buddy, your flexibility in our
Oh,
recording schedule is what keeps this dream alive.
it's because I don't,
It really
because
does.
I don't have anything going on in my
I
life.
don't
So,
either.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
either.
yeah,
I had a migraine and I just
yeah,
wanted to sleep.
yeah. I mean, it's not like I've never canceled like either or asked to reschedule. So, but usually it's because
Ah.
I forget, oh, there's a concert tonight. Fuck. I should. Okay, all right.
uh,
Because my wife refuses to use a calendar.
well, she's a big fan of Post-it notes, though.
She is. Yeah. Post-it notes, but that doesn't help me at all. Oh, how you doing?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm thinking about all the plane rides I got to take over the next few days. So you know how it makes
Yeah,
me feel.
yeah. Nice, safe, and secure.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's going to be fine. Nothing
Yeah,
is wrong.
nothing.
Yeah. Not every single safety net of our society,
Mhm.
including
Yeah.
transportation, is coming
It-
apart at the seams, but it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
It's gonna be. It'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. All the turbulence they can't predict because of the NOAA, all the airline
Mhm.
crashes because of the, ATC stuff.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Fine.
I don't know about you, but I was never under any illusions that you and I were ever going to get Social Security. But
Yeah. Yeah.
now I'm worried about my parents being able to finish theirs.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
we don't need to turn it. We don't need to turn this into a political podcast. But man, things are rough.
Things are. I mean, we could have 52 states by the end of the year. So I mean.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's fine. It's great. It's great for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh. Why don't you tell me about something you like, Drew?
Okay, so you sort of made fun of me
Mm-hmm.
about this next topic
Mhm.
when I first talked about it when I got it for Christmas.
And I've been
Well,
secretly making fun of you every time I see you post on Blue Sky.
Why? Why?
No,
Okay,
it's
let's.
fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. You're obviously enjoying this a lot. Mm-hmm.
So if you follow me on Blue Sky
Mhm.
at dublindata.net, you will see that I have been posting videos from my bird feeder. I
Mhm.
received an AI powered bird feeder as a present last holiday season.
You sure did. Yes.
And, it was really, really cold most of January and part of February. We're now at the end of March. So as we have started to get the outdoors ready for the summer months, I was like, okay, this might be a good time to finally get this thing hung up, plug it in, charge it, download the horrible app that everything has because there's no standardization about any of this stuff. Put it on an isolated Wi-Fi network because, China. And I decided to see how this was going to work. And I gotta say, it's actually pretty good. So you are secretly making fun of me because I'm able to take the videos from my bird feeder and post pictures of all the lovely little birds that
Mhm.
come and visit us on
Mhm.
my deck.
And you do. Yes. Yes.
And I do.
Mm-hmm.
And the picture quality is really good. The audio and the audio and everything is pretty good too because they do little chirpy chirps. And I can watch them crunch and munch on the bird seed that's in the bird feeder, and that's primarily what has been on my Blue Sky feed.
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of burbs. Yep.
Yeah. So now that I actually have this thing in practice, though, let's sort of talk about how it is kind of gross, though.
Okay. Yeah.
So look, the whole way that this thing works is motion sensing.
Okay.
Now, the last time that we tried to put a bird feeder here, because I like burbs, I think burbs are cool. I don't think they're real, but I think that they are really, really cool. And there's lots of different kinds and they're colorful and sometimes they make cute noises. We placed one out in the yard and the deer ate it. The squirrels got in it.
Oh,
I don't think
yeah.
any birds actually ever got to really enjoy it. So when I hung this up, this is currently placed on a pole at the corner of my deck facing my house, surrounded by some arborvitaes. So the camera is only pointed at my house. It's not like it's pointed at my neighbors or anything like that.
Okay,
And
yeah,
you can
yeah.
occasionally see me walk by the kitchen. If when I post some of these videos, it's
Okay.
kind of funny.
I'm gonna start pixel creeping. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, you got to zoom in a little bit, but you can see us humans moving around in there.
Okay. Okay.
But the whole way that it works is it works off of motion sensing. Now, I have fiddled with the controls in the app, but if there's even a slight breeze and the arborvitaes are shaking,
It just
the
starts recording.
camera sends 100 notifications an hour to my phone.
Okay.
Now,
okay.
here's the thing though. It does not cost you a monthly subscription to use this device.
That's nice. Okay.
But if you did buy one, you get better features. So
Do you get
the
burb
two
identification?
main yeah, so
Okay.
the two main features that you get if you buy a subscription, and I think it's like $40 a year. We're not talking about all the money in the world here. But it's like $40 a year. And the two big things that it gives you is it gives you bird identification. So if the camera is able to take a picture, upload it to the cloud, run it through some, image classification, models in their environment or whatever, it will then tell you, hey, this is this kind of bird. But the other feature that I think is even more important than that is that you can set the identification and motion sensing zone.
So you could block away. You can get rid of the
There
shrubbery.
there is no option to do that in the base app. It literally just captures everything on the camera.
Sounds like you're spending $40.
Well, so I thought about that, right? I thought about that and I thought, man, I should probably just buy it and take advantage of it and use it. But I don't care so much about real-time notifications on this camera. I have sort of found my happy space is that every couple hours I'll open the app and I'll look through the notifications. And sure enough, there's a lot of stills that get captured where there's nothing happening. But you can very quickly tell just by scrolling through the app, like, oh yeah, there's definitely a bird in this video. And that's the ones that I'm able to save or download or access through an API and then take those videos and then post them to social media or, share them with people or whatever. And it's been pretty good. I maybe I'm just getting old, but there is something kind of fun about watching these little guys and girls get up on this bird feeder and munch away. So why are you making fun of me? Why is this funny to you?
I don't know. Like,
aren't they cute though?
I mean, the birds.
They're birds. Some cardinals, some lady and boy cardinals, and some bluebirds, and some little finches and robins, and sometimes there's two birds on there. Sometimes the birds fight. Like,
I don't like. My mom fed birds when I was growing up, and I just found the whole thing to be kind of. I don't know. I guess I never really understood the enjoyment of it outside of just, like I'm helping out wildlife or something. I don't know. But yeah, it feels like that's something that like old people do when they're retired.
I definitely think that this is something like I'm not here to throw shade at anybody who is a member of the Audubon Society or enjoys bird watching or keeps birds even as pets. That the keeping birds as pets is a little bridge too far for me because they're very noisy and they're very gross and they're very messy.
Yeah.
But of all the things that sort of live in nature near our homes, birds are sort of the least destructive,
Yeah.
most friendly. Well, I don't know if friendly is the right word. They're not skunks. They're not deer. They're not coyotes.
Yeah.
They're not
digging in your garbage.
Right. They're not raccoons. They're relatively harmless. And the one big thing that I was worried about was this thing is posted on a corner on our deck. And I was thinking, man, there's going to be a big mess with all the bird seed that gets knocked out and they're going to poop all over my deck. But so far that hasn't been a problem because they seem just as comfortable getting the seed that falls out of the bird feeder onto the deck as they are eating directly at the bird feeder. I've caught a few birds on the deck eating the droppings. that come out
Now,
of the bird feeder.
have you gotten any predators yet?
No, there have been no birds of prey,
You'll
and
that if you keep it up long enough, that will happen.
I figure it might, like a hawk or something
Uh-huh.
will come in.
Yeah.
If I get a video of that, that might be the end of the bird feeder camera. I don't think my little heart could take it if I saw like a beautiful robin get scooped up by like a hawk.
So, where we were growing up, we had a lot of mourning doves. Those gray little pigeon looking things.
Oh, those are thick boys.
Those are thick boys. And what would always happen is we'd get a few times a year like a red tail hawk, and almost without fail, if you happen to be catching it, you would see all the birds fly away except for the mourning doves. And they'd be on because they feed on the ground, so they get all the stuff. Yep. And they kind of just like look up and look around, and then red streak, explosion of gray feathers, and it was over.
Yeah. Well, so, yeah. I'm not an expert, and maybe this is a gateway drug into a more bird friendly activities, but my thinking was, by putting it on this corner of the deck, one, it's up high enough that I don't think a squirrel could get there. Even if the squirrels were able to get into the arborvitaes, I don't think there's anything that supports their weight to where they can climb on anything and get to this, because it is literally a metal pole that this thing is like strapped to.
They can climb metal poles, just so you know.
I'm honestly very surprised that we've had this thing up for, I don't know, maybe 10 to 14, maybe almost 2 weeks now we've had this up, and I've yet to see a squirrel. Now, there's squirrels in the yard. There's squirrels on my roof. Don't get me started. I have yet to catch a squirrel on this camera. So I was fully expecting it. Friend of the show, Eric Darling, also has one of these cameras, and they get rats on their camera.
Wow.
Because he lives in Brooklyn.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah. But I have yet to see a squirrel here.
Okay.
But you're making fun of me, though, and I don't like that.
I mean, not a lot, just a little bit like, oh, there's Drew and his bird feeder again. Burb.
I don't have anything else exciting going on in my life put it this way, that I want to put on social media.
Got it. Okay.
So this is gonna have to do. So the other thing I was really curious about, because the roof of the bird feeder has the solar panels, and I was thinking, obviously the sun doesn't shine at night.
Right.
But the one thing the bird feeder does have is it does have a sleep mode. So you can tell it, hey, starting at 8 o'clock, just turn off.
Turn off. Yeah.
Just turn off. And then when I open the app during the day, I can see that the bird feeder is charging. Like, I can see the little icon next to the battery that says it's charging. So obviously the solar power part of this works.
Enough to power a camera and a sensor, probably. It's all it has.
I mean, it's really not too much. Yeah. And it just sits on my network, and there's an internal SD card, and then there's also a certain amount of cloud storage that you get for free, I think. But it's working. Good, I'm having fun.
Good. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, but I don't like it when you make fun of me.
I'm not. I just think, okay, maybe it's less make fun. Maybe it's more, isn't that cute? Bless his heart.
Yeah, bless his heart.
Oh,
bless his little heart. Mm-hmm. And it's neat too, because we're seeing some repeat customers. Like the lady and female cardinals come at least several times a day, so that's kind of cool. All right, you want to talk about comics?
Yeah, I've been reading some comics recently. Okay. I'm back on my DC bullshit. First, I want to complain about what possibly could be the worst named product ever. Okay, so a lot of people are familiar with Marvel Unlimited. It's their, pay a subscription, get access to a bunch of comics. Well, DC has one of those as well, and it is called DC Universe Infinite. Okay, so already that's not a great name. It's too many words, whatever. They have a higher tier. It's a little bit more expensive, but the gimmick there is you get new comics. New comics are available for you to read 1 month after they hit kind of, like the stores once they're published. So, if you're not person needs to be up to date all, every time, and it's like $12 a month, but if you could figure, like, that's probably like less than 2 comics at a comic book store if you had a pull list. So if you can find some comics that you like to read, it's definitely worth it. But that particular product, that add-on is called DC Universe Infinite Ultra.
Yeah, usually infinite is the ultimate measure of something.
Yeah, no, it's Infinite Ultra because infinite is not enough. It's Infinite Ultra. Infinite Ultra.
Huh. Okay.
But it's good if you like comics. It's, and you want to get, some they do a really good job like organizing like major storylines that span across different comic runs, and so you can read them all, and it's a pretty good app all in all. So DC's kind of in this new push. It's called DC All In. It's not important. They're just trying to like revitalize and kind of renew some storylines and make more money. But as part of that, they have introduced a line of comics that they are calling their Absolute Universe. And so far there's going to be 6 of these: Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Superman, Absolute Flash, Absolute Martian Manhunter, Absolute Green Lantern. I've only read Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman because those are what's available for me in the app right now. So what's different about these? Okay, well, that's a good question, Drew. That's a good question. So what the gimmick is, all of these are new takes on these superheroes. So for example, Absolute Batman. So Batman is always kind of characterized as parents killed, extremely wealthy.
Yeah.
Absolute Batman, dad died, mom's alive, he's dirt poor. He's smart, he's an engineer, but he does not have the wealth that he had before. Absolute Superman, obviously Superman, Krypton's destroyed, sent over as a baby, raised by humans. An Absolute Superman, he was basically like a young adult teenager when he was sent, and doesn't have like the like wasn't raised by humans. So that's kind of the shtick there. And Wonder Woman is, instead of being an Amazon raised on the Themyscira, all the Amazons are dead but her, and she was raised in hell by Circe. So a little bit different there. So it's like they have the same kind of, like, Superman's still Superman, Wonder Woman, though, like, she's a little, Wonder Woman's probably the most different compared to what you would think of, as Wonder Woman. But it's a very interesting kind of like, and there's other characters that get introduced and you go like, oh, that's Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane and Alfred, but they're all different. And I'm here to say that so far I've been really enjoying them. They have had about like 5 episodes of each of those. I think, yeah, Absolute Flash should be available for me to read in a couple of weeks. But it's interesting, and I'm really enjoying this different take on these well-known superheroes. So if you're looking for some comics to read, and like I said, they're still relatively new, so I think you're not too far behind. That's what Absolute Batman started in October of 2024, so it's still relatively new. They're good. They're fun. I don't want to talk too much more about them because I don't want to spoil anything. But if you're looking for some new comics to read, you could do a lot worse than the Absolute Universe in DC Universe Infinite Ultra. Oh, what a horrible name. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So DC Ultra. DC
DC
Infinite.
DC
DC
Universe Infinite Ultra. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So Infinite Ultra is the new tier.
Yeah. So DC Universe Infinite is their pay a subscription, get access to a bunch of comics. So that's what the app is called. If you download the app, it's dcuniverseinfinite.com. And usually what it is you get new comics 6 months after they're out.
6 months after they're out. Mm-hmm. So when Absolute Batman #1 comes out, you get that comic as part of that subscription 6 months later.
Yes.
Or do you get the whole series 6 months later?
No, one issue at a time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So 6 months from the print date of each issue. You get it.
Yes.
But in the Ultra tier, you get it 2 weeks?
1 month. 1 month.
1 month.
1 month after.
So they still want to push people to buy comics.
Yes.
Okay. That's the part that I was really trying to figure out here.
Yeah, it's 1 month. But it's like, and I don't need to be the person that, gets the comic the day it comes out. And like I said, comics are expensive now. And if I did a pull list at a comic book store, I'd be spending way more than $13 a month. Of course, I bought the year because you can save up to 23% when you buy a year ahead of time.
Can't afford not to.
Can't afford not to. And I think you do get access to a slightly larger collection, like some of their stuff from Vertigo. You get access to an Ultra where you don't have it in the plain Infinite, but
with issues and compilations from Vertigo, DC Black Labels. I think Vertigo and DC Black Label are the stuff I think I like.
Yeah,
because that's where was it Sandman Vertigo?
I believe so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's some other stuff that I have that I think is that too. Where can I get the rest of the what are they called? The Teenage God series that you got me?
That's a good question.
Where can I get those?
Maybe Comixology or whatever it's called on Amazon now.
Oh, I thought that was a DC thing.
I don't think so.
Huh.
I don't think so.
Okay, so let's talk about these Absolute series here. So you said you've read is Absolute Batman are all the episodes out? Are all the issues out now?
It's ongoing. There are 5 issues, 5 or 6 out for Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. So it's ongoing.
Wikipedia says 6. Okay.
Yeah, there's still. I don't think it's going to be a forever run. Maybe they'll do 20 issues or something, but
But it's good. Which one do you like the best so far?
I don't know. They're all equally good in different ways. One thing I do hate. I see if I can find a picture. Absolute Batman. Let's see if I can find an image.
Yeah, the Absolute Batman Wikipedia page. I can't figure out what's going on with that picture.
Yeah, so here I'm going to put a link in there. So the bat symbol on his chest is ugly. It's real ugly.
Absolute Batman 1. It just looks like black. It looks like a black square.
Yeah, there is a in-universe reason for why it looks like that, which I won't share because it will spoil things.
Okay.
But yeah, it's yeah, and it's a very interesting take on even the villains are interesting. Right, because there are new takes on that. So, in Absolute Batman, it's Hush, and they're just. It's interesting to see such a I mean, I would say a fresh take, but they're still fucking superheroes, right? It's the same, Superman still flies and is really strong and can shoot lasers out of his eyes. It's still that. But, instead of being this, I love humanity, I want to be a protector because I was raised on a farm. He's just a broody teenager and he doesn't like bullies. And, yeah. That's really all there is to it. Is like these people, like there's this corporation who's, I mean, I don't get too spoilery, but there's this corporation that's basically taking advantage of, like, underprivileged people, and he's like, fuck that, and just wrecks their shit. Now they want to kill him, but it's yeah, they're good. It's just it's a refreshing take on these like tried and true superheroes. So
Okay, so when I heard you rattling off the absolute series that they made, right? The absolute universe, as they say, right?
Mhm.
I heard a lot of really good IP in there that even a layman like me understands.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Batman, Wonder Woman,
Mhm.
Superman, Flash, Green Lantern.
Green Lantern. Yep. Martian
Who's
Martian Manhunter's
Who's
the other
Martian Manhunter? Like that's the one
Okay.
that's scratching my head a little bit.
one. He's
I
okay.
I don't know that one.
Well, he's in a lot. Like he's canonically one of the founding members of the Justice League.
Okay.
He's
I don't ever remember hearing about him.
Yeah, well, okay. Like he's not as popular as the other ones. He's literally a Martian, came from Mars, can shapeshift, can fly, is strong. Yeah, he's the Martian Manhunter. Like it's yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's. I mean, I don't think he's anybody's favorite superhero, but he's definitely, like if I was gonna tell you, like, in fact, if I was gonna pick like, founding members of the Justice League, I would probably leave off Green Lantern and include Martian Manhunter. Like that's
Interesting.
that's how it is. So yeah,
Martian Manhunter. Johns, alias John
Yeah.
Jones, is
John
a
Jones.
superhero,
yeah,
but he looks like a Martian.
yes, he's green. He's green, and it's not.
Yeah,
He's green,
sure
but he can change shape.
Debuted in the backup story, The Strange Experiment of Dr. Iredell, 1955. Martian Manhunter, 1955. Huh.
Yep,
Martian Manhunter.
Martian Manhunter.
That's You're not a Green Lantern fan?
Not really, to be honest. He's not.
There are many. There are many lanterns.
I know. I do know. Yeah, that
Okay.
they protect the entire universe and gets yeah. And then when they go bad, they could become yellow lanterns or red lanterns because it's all about different emotions. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
And there's some really good. What was that one? Uh. Jeez, what there's like a really iconic storyline. No, that's not it. The internet's no. Which one did I really like? Fuck, I can't even. Blackest Night. That's it. Blackest Night.
Okay.
Was a very very popular series for that involved the Green Lanterns. I mean, there's nothing wrong with There's nothing wrong with Green Lantern. He's not my thing. He's not my thing. Yeah, yeah. I'm a Batman, Superman kind of guy. That's just how I am. But
I always kind of pictured you as a Batman guy first.
yeah, definitely Batman guy first. In fact, I also read on DC Universe Infinite Ultra. I had never I never fully read the Death of the Family storyline in Batman. It wasn't great, but I did read it and I'm glad I read it. But
Why didn't you like it?
it ended really it did the goddamn okay. All right, maybe some very light spoilers coming up here for the Death of the Family series.
Isn't that an old comic though?
No, it's not. That's Death. You may be thinking Death in the Family.
I know Death in the Family is from my childhood.
Yeah,
I very distinctly remember seeing that.
Okay,
comic.
so it's a play on that. Okay, so there's a storyline where in Batman where Joker basically like loses his face. It's not important why. And then he basically leaves for a year, just disappears. Death of the Family is he basically comes back to Gotham, steals his face, and he has decided that all of the allies and friends that Batman has is making him weak. And he wants Batman to be the best version of Batman so he can have a worthy adversary. So he starts going after the Bat family, you know, Robin, Nightwing, Red Hood, Batgirl, etc., etc., etc. So it spans a whole bunch of different comic lines. It's a big overarching story. And it's always alluding to the fact that, like, hey, like, Joker is going to kill the Bat family, and like the Bat family is like, they've had enough and they're going to kill Joker instead, you know, like, you know, because Batman can't do it because he's Batman. So they're going to kill Joker. And then at the end, nothing happens. It's a big nothing burger. Everybody's fine. The Joker escapes. So yeah, there you go. It's
Okay.
yeah. Like it built all this tension up, and then there's absolutely no payoff, none. It's just like, oh, Batman saved the day, and yeah, the Joker was bluffing all along, and yeah,
Haha.
exactly, and he escaped. Oh, of course he did, because yeah.
I mean, you can't have Batman without the Joker, right?
Exactly. So, yeah. Big payoff. I mean, big build up, no payoff. So that was my issue with it. And I'm reading some other stuff too, but yeah. I mostly want to talk about the Absolute Universe. It was good. It is good. It's good. Comics,
so last question then.
Mm-hmm.
You bought this tier of this subscription for the Absolute then? Like that was the main driver behind your decision?
I would like to say yes, but it's not, you know. I had my subscription had kind of lapsed on for DC Ultimate, whatever the fuck it is. And I was like, you know, I want to read some comics. I want to get, you know, I hadn't read comics for a while. I'd been, you know, reading actual books, like without pictures in them. Gross. And I wanted to get back into reading comics. So I was like, well, I mean, I could pay this much a month, or I could get the better version. And, you know, I'm a sucker for that. So I just bought the better version, because I was like, yeah, sure, why not?
One thing I know about you love an upsell.
I do. It was an upsell, and I was like, sure, let's do this. And it makes it so easy in the goddamn app. You download the app and you're like, I would like to subscribe now. Yes, double click, done. Ding. A little satisfying ding of dopamine, you know? Like, I just bought a thing on my phone, or iPad technically. And then I found them, and I was like, ooh, I'm gonna give this a read. And yeah, I think it must have been just uncanny timing, because when I bought the subscription, I think maybe there was like 2 issues of Absolute Batman and Superman out. So I was like pretty much, you know, I guess technically like 2 or 3 months behind, but you know, still wasn't like there was a huge back catalog. They were new, and they were like, hey, popular on DC Universe Infinite. I'm like, oh, what's these? And yeah, so far so good.
Okay. I'm glad you're enjoying that. That sounds pretty cool. Yeah. I'll have to maybe read those. My thing is, and this is definitely one of my illnesses, is I hate the fact that if I subscribe right now, I could read those 5 or 6 issues, and then I have to wait a while to get my closure.
It's fun. Every month you get a little tidbit of the story. It's good, and there's so much other shit on there to read. If you want,
I can't handle that with Severance taking a week to get a new episode.
Okay. Have you watched that
I need
yet?
it. When I need something, I need it now.
Have you watched that yet? Season 2's over.
I'm working my way through it.
Okay.
I waited until it was over so I can watch them uninterrupted without having to wait.
Okay. All right.
Have you watched it?
Oh yeah, I watched them like they come out on Fridays or something, so I'd watch them like Friday night or like Saturday. So
okay.
It really depends on what hockey game was on at the time. So
I understand. I am working my way through it. We'll definitely catch up about it. I don't know if you have thoughts and feelings.
You know, I thought season 2 was like, every episode of season 2 could have been the season finale. It was like that good, that much tension.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it's I don't know how far you are, but man, like that show is just fucking weird, but it's like everything about it, like the way that it's shot, the way that it's lit, the music, it's just so masterfully done. Uh and the show's not afraid to be weird.
Okay.
You know? That's good.
Let's put a pin in that.
How far are you in it?
Like episode 4.
Oh, okay. So you're just getting into it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, I know that it just ended.
Mm-hmm.
That was my green light to binge it, because I didn't binge the first season until it was done. So, and I did the same thing with Slow Horses. I did the same thing with Ted Lasso. Yeah, that's just how I watch that episodic shit. So, we will definitely make that a future topic, because I definitely want to talk about it, but I want to wait to.
Okay.
I want to wait to finish. All right, Paul. I had to give up on a keyboard.
What keyboard?
We talked about this a while ago, but I don't know if you recall, but I bought a wireless mechanical keyboard.
Oh, I remember this. Yes.
Yeah. And remember that, like, I bought one and I had to return it because it was just no way to do a tilde key.
Yeah. Yep.
And this one was it's 10 keyless, but it's even smaller than that. I forget what the right word is, but it doesn't have arrow keys. Oh, it does have arrow keys. Sorry. Look, I was using that as basically my keyboard initially that was connected to my Raspberry Pi, and then it became the keyboard attached to my Mac Mini.
Yep.
Now, as a keyboard, it was fine. It was perfectly fine. The Bluetooth on it was never super reliable. So what I ended up doing on both my Raspberry Pi and on my Mac Mini was using the dongle, like the little RF dongle thing. I call it a dongle, but really it's just like a small little USB antenna that you plug in. The unfortunate thing is that on the Mac Mini, I think I can't remember if there's actual USB-A ports on it, but I had to use one of those little gross adapters, and it was just sticking out of the back. But it worked. It worked fine. But my Mac Mini really has become the daily driver PC for me.
Nice. Good.
Yeah. I really only turn on my Windows PC to record this podcast, just because that's where the bulk of my AV equipment is currently hooked up to. And I could very easily take that over to the Mac Mini. I just haven't. And part of that is because the other reason I use all of this on my PC is for gaming. So even if I were to plug all that shit into my Mac, I would have to replug it all into my PC when I would play a game. So anyway, I've been using the Mac Mini at least several times a day to do email, to pay bills, to do other important things on there because I trust it. It works. I can almost do everything from a productivity perspective on it. Like I do pay for Office 365. So, I have that. I have G Suite as part of my consulting business. So I use I use the Google apps on there. There's basically two things that I couldn't do on my Mac Mini. And the first is, for whatever reason, the OneDrive integration for Mac OS does not support Personal Vault.
I don't know what that is.
So if you have a Office 365 subscription, like a personal subscription, I don't know if you do or not.
I do not.
Yeah. So like right now, when I go to my OneDrive folder, there's all sorts of things in there. There's like a desktop folder and a documents folder and a pictures folder, and those all sync those things. And of course, you can create other folders inside of there. You can sync those with your desktop computer. I don't like the particular integration with it, but it's whatever. But there is this thing on there called the Personal Vault. And the Personal Vault is just an added layer of, because like if someone comes to, if I would leave my computer unlocked and someone comes to my computer and double clicks the OneDrive icon in my taskbar, they can basically browse everything that's on my OneDrive, right? It's just like another folder, except it's, cloud. But there's this thing called the personal vault, which is like a self-locking, encrypted, like extra secure area of things that you can put in OneDrive. So even if somebody were to gain access to my computer, like if they were able to compromise the login to my computer, they could get at everything in my OneDrive, provided that, my OneDrive subscription is current and everything like that. And anything that is downloaded from OneDrive, even if there's not an internet connection. But the personal vault is a way that just adds another layer of 2FA for accessing files in OneDrive for a limited amount of time. So like right now it's locked. So if I double click the little personal vault icon in there, I will get a Windows system dialog that's like, enter your PIN number, use your 2FA, use your smart key, use a pass key, however you have that set up. So that's where I store really important documents, legal documents, tax documents, stuff related to all the government regulations that I have to follow for like my guns. That's where I put all that stuff.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, that's not on the client for the Mac. I don't know why. Like that capability does not exist. From a Windows perspective, it just looks like another shortcut inside of OneDrive. Like there's really fundamentally nothing different. It's just that there's some sort of system integration for the Windows app that makes that work. I don't know why it doesn't work on the Mac. But as the Mac has become my daily driver, there's one thing I can't do on there that finally got me to a point where it's like, okay, it's time for a change.
Okay.
Can you guess?
Touch ID?
Touch ID.
Touch ID. That's why I have a Magic Keyboard Velcroed upside down under my desk.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a mental note of that.
It's great. It's great.
So why Touch ID? So there's two things that were driving me crazy on my Mac. The first one is Apple Pay.
Yeah.
And it's not like I use Apple Pay every day. If I do, it's usually on my phone.
It's good. Yeah. Because on the Mac, it's convenient because can you just use Touch ID and boom, you're done, paid. Yeah.
Well, the one thing that I was really confused, because if you have on your phone, if you have a card saved in Apple Pay, you can see the cards and you can view them and use the app integration and everything like that. And my Mac kept telling me, hey, do you want to set up Apple Pay? And every time I would click on it, it would say, can't add card, can't do this, can't do anything. And I just didn't understand why. But it's very obvious that you can't do it because you need to have Touch ID.
Oh, okay.
For all that stuff to work.
Okay.
And for it to be secured. And the other one was apps like 1Password.
Yeah. Yep.
And unlocking it.
Mm-hmm.
I know, even with Touch ID, you still have to do it every 14 days or however, whatever that timeout is. But when I need a password, I don't want to type my magic phrase over and over and over again. Touch ID would make that so much easier.
Mm-hmm. It sure does. And plus, other system dialogues where instead of having to type in your admin password, allow that stuff, you can use your Touch ID instead. Yeah, it's good. That's why I have a 100+ keyboard that I only use one button of welcome to the bottom of my desk. Yeah, and
I thought about that. I'm genuinely curious if there's companies other than Apple that make a Touch ID compatible thing. No. I think it's only Apple, right?
No, but there are, if you are brave enough, there are instructions about how to basically tear one of those apart, and that people have designed 3D printable enclosures. So you can remove just the board, the battery, and the Touch ID button have a much smaller enclosure, but you do have to go in there and rip things apart.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not about to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And $80 minimum for one of these things.
Yeah, it's a lot, but I mean, I use mine multiple times every day, and it's great.
Yeah, so I ended up buying the white Touch ID keyboard because it was
Okay.
$10 cheaper than the black one.
Good for you.
And I know that sounds stupid, but
The short one, not the full size one.
no, the full size.
Oh,
one.
about the full size one. Okay.
Yeah, because I figured if I was going to spend the money, I'll spend the extra $20 to get a full keypad.
Okay. I hate keypads, but that's okay.
I
To
know,
each their
I know,
own.
I know.
To each their own.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what do you think? Do you like
Look,
typing on it?
I use a Magic Keyboard every day on my work PC. That one doesn't have Touch ID though, but it's hooked up to a laptop, and I have Touch ID, and I have my YubiKey and everything on that Mac. So I've never had to have a keyboard that had Touch ID, because anytime I need to use Touch ID, I just reach over and use the keyboard on the laptop, because I use my laptop as a second screen.
Which I do not. My laptop is closed, like on the back corner of my desk, for any of those wondering.
Hey, if I was doing that, then that's what I would do too. I would absolutely do that too. But I've always liked the Apple keyboards. They're a much different typing experience than a regular mechanical keyboard. I have found that as I have gotten older, I have way more misclicks on my keyboard on the Apple keyboard than I do on a full size, or a full mechanical keyboard, I should say. Just the way my fingers sort of roll off some of these keys. I think it's just bad typing posture. I constantly will hit a wrong key on these things. And I do it on this keyboard. I do it on my other keyboard that's a Mac. I've even done it on Mac laptop keyboards. But I mean, this is just like typing on the Magic Keyboard. And I think that these are really good keyboards. I know they're not for everybody. I really like them. It's nice to type on, but I just feel bad because the keyboard that I had was perfectly fine, except for Touch ID.
Yeah,
it was a really good keyboard. I liked typing on it. It felt great. It's just kind of sitting there not doing anything right now because my Raspberry Pi is headless and it's just plugged in. I don't even know where it's plugged in. It's plugged in somewhere in my house right now. But there's nothing else for me to use this on. I could probably use this on my work computer if I wanted to. And like, that's the thought that I had. But then it was like, well, that keyboard's not Touch ID. So it's not like I can just swap keyboards. Because I don't even think they made Touch ID keyboards when I bought that. That keyboard that I have is pretty old. Matter of fact, I think it was the same keyboard I had when I worked with you.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I felt kind of bad because it is a really nice keyboard and I like using it.
But they are expensive. I mean, granted, so is a mechanical keyboard, but like, I don't know. They're still like like the white one's like what, $170 or something?
No, I got it on Amazon.
Okay, you got it.
Got it from Beesbo's place because
okay.
I mean, I could have went to Micro Center and maybe paid a little less, but I wanted it like that day.
Yeah.
So Beesbo's place, I got it for. Oh no! You're right. It was $192 shipped.
Okay. Yeah. It's not. That's not cheap for a keyboard.
No, it really isn't. Now, I called it a business expense. But
smart.
Yeah. I mean, because it is. But like at Micro Center, for example, if I go to Apple and then I go to Mac accessories and then I go to, so the Apple Magic Keyboard, the one without the keypad at Micro Center, white. Oh, that's not Touch ID. Sorry. The Apple Magic Keyboard with Touch ID and numeric keypad black is $199.99 at Micro Center for the black one, and it's $179.99 at. And I think that's what I ended up paying at Amazon. I think it was $179.
Yeah, I mean, mine was $150 because I didn't need. I mean, first of all, who needs a numpad? Nobody. But I'm never going to see this thing, so I bought the smaller one. But that was still $150. Like, yeah. Have it
for the privilege. Yeah, that's what it is at Micro Center. It's $149.99 for the white one with Touch ID.
Just to put some two-sided Velcro or Velcro strips on there and adhese it to the bottom of my desk. Yeah.
And it hasn't fallen on you or anything?
Oh no. Actually, I'm more worried about the other thing. because like the Velcro and the adhesive are both really strong. So if I ever want to take the sucker off, it is going to be a project. But
That's cool.
I haven't needed to. Like, I just have it plugged in via the lightning to USB-C cable into my dock, so it just registers automatically whichever, because I use the same setup for my personal, like, I have a Thunderbolt dock with everything is plugged into my monitor, everything, so I can put my work computer or my personal computer, connect it to the Thunderbolt dock, and everything just works. And the keyboard works as well. It doesn't matter what computer I have plugged in there. So yeah, it's worked really well for me. But yeah, I mean, I hear you, because I was literally like, I don't have the biggest desk in my office, and to have my keyboard open was taking up a lot of room, and I literally only had it open so I could use Touch ID. And I wanted more desk space, but I still wanted to keep Touch ID. So like, yeah, I made that decision because of Touch ID. Like, I couldn't. I tried being without it for a day, and I'm like, no, can't do it. This is awful.
I mean, it was an inconvenience for me at first, but
Yeah.
like I said, like when I come downstairs to my office in the morning, my PC only runs a few hours a day now because my Mac Mini is just there.
Yeah.
And I just flip the switch on my monitor to switch to the different input, and I take the keyboard out from the little tray because I've got like a little shelf under my desk. It just lives on there. I take that out of there. I take the mouse over, and that's what I use throughout the day if people are emailing me or I need to like do something on my own, and it works great. And it's interesting too, right? Because of the security module that's part of Touch ID, like pairing it with your keyboard requires like, you got to like hit the power button on your Mac and hit the thing. So yeah, it was fun to set up.
Yeah, I did have to do that the first time I plugged each computer in, but now it just works with both of them. So yeah.
You can go back and forth with them?
Yep, it works great. Yeah, you do have to. Yeah, you do have to go through that pairing process the first time, but after that, it just works seamlessly if I go back and forth. It's really, I love the Thunderbolt dock lifestyle. It's great.
Cool. Last topic for tonight. We're coming into the spring months now, and the government said I was a good boy again.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, so I am now the proud owner of a Thunder Beast Arms Corporation.
Excuse me?
Thunder Beast.
Thunder Beast. Thunder Beast. Magnus.
Yep. So this is a company. This is a company that's based in Wisconsin. So it's interesting. I know that I've talked a lot about long distance shooting and everything on this channel and on this podcast, I should say. And it's ironic because the rifles that I use for that aren't suppressed. Like I have suppressors and I have other tools for other guns that, aren't really used for that application. And most of the time when me and my friend go out shooting, we are shooting long range. And part of the reason that I didn't have that suppressed is this company, this Thunder Beast Arms Corporation, which they're a really small company that's based out of Wyoming, and they make by hand these suppressors. And people in the lifestyle, let's say, basically recognize that these people are making probably some of the best sounding, best, decibel reduction, fit and finish, material selection. They're very light, just really good suppressors, especially for competitive applications. And I originally ordered the suppressor for this gun last year. So I placed my order back in May of 2024, and I just got it last week.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, they make them basically to order. Like these particular suppressors you will not find in stock at places that sell them. You
Hmm.
usually either have to go through your store, which would place an order with them, or you can also place an order directly with this company. So I basically emailed them and said, "Hey, here's the two rifles I want to run this on. Tell me what you think I should do." So they basically gave me some options, what type of mount that I want to put on both of my guns, because the whole idea is that you want to be able to swap this between the two rifles. So there's basically a muzzle brake, or like a muzzle device, that you have to swap on the guns, and then this thing basically docks with those, and is you screw them on, and then there's like a locking mechanism, so I can go back and forth between them easily. They're rated for, both of my gun calibers, which is the other thing. So like if you're looking at that page, there's basically a couple different types of the name of the suppressor is the Magnus family.
Magnus. sounds
And
like
there's
a dildo.
yeah,
Thunder
well,
Beast Magnus.
Thunder Beast Magnus, right? So mine is a full length 30 caliber Magnus. And
Mm.
what's interesting is,
Sorry, that doesn't help.
I know,
Okay, sorry. I'll stop laughing.
but like it's okay, but like the thing of it is that technically both of my guns are 30 caliber. But one of the things you have to keep in mind is that like the pressures involved with the different types of 30 caliber, because like my 308 has way less pressure than my 300 PRC. So I needed to find a suppressor that could, number one, attach to both guns, but also be able to handle both of the calibers that I'm shooting. And this one definitely does that. So I basically told them, what I was doing, and they made some recommendations. And then, because they're manufacturing a suppressor, like there's certain laws and regulations that they have to do. Like they basically have to, file a form with the ATF saying, "Hey, we're constructing this thing." The serial number has to go on file, and then once it's ready, I pay them the balance of what I owe them to make it. Then they ship it to my gun store, and then that's when I can officially do the paperwork with the government and start my waiting period for them to approve that. And then I have to go in and pick it back up. So it took them from May of last year to the beginning of March to finish it, just because they were backed up and they had a lot of orders. And, like I said,
Yeah.
it's like three people that make these. So, they're using their machines and testing them and QCing them and everything. And then once it went from them to the gun store, it took like 3 days for my thing to be approved, and then I got it. I haven't shot it yet, but hopefully this will be the last thing that I have to buy for a good while. Because these things are so bespoke, it is the most expensive suppressor I own.
Oof. Yeah. But hey, they're the best.
Supposedly, we're gonna see. I'm super pumped though, because I have never shot any of my bolt guns suppressed, and those are the ones that like, man, I remember not this last time we went to the range, but the time before, I was shooting prone, so I was like laying on the ground shooting, and I was right next to a post that supports the shelter that we were under. And just the way that my gun was situated, like the back pressure, or the muzzle brake that I had on my gun would shoot out the sides of the muzzle brake and basically ricochet or rebound off of that post and just hit me in the face. And it was like I was just concussing myself over and over again every time I shot. So
when are you going to get it out to the range?
well, I have, so because this is going to go on two guns, before the suppressor was even shipped to the gun store for me to do the paperwork, I bought an extra mount. So like if you're on that page and you can say brake, there's a section on there where it says brakes available online. Basically, I bought what is called an SR brake in one of the metric capacities, because the one gun I have has this really goofy thread pitch that's metric instead of imperial, because it's from Europe. And
that tracks. Okay.
That tracks. So I bought that ahead of time, and like there was a whole process of getting the old muzzle device off of my gun, and then the brake is timed, meaning that you want it to be aligned perfectly. Like there's things that need to be at 12, 3, 6, and 9 o'clock. So in order to do that, like they send you these different washers and you basically have to figure out like, okay, if I hand tighten it with these washers, it needs to be like 1/12 of a turn before you torque it down within spec of where it needs to be. And that's kind of a pain in the ass. But I did all that and got that muzzle brake attached to my gun and made sure that everything was all lined up correctly. So that's done. And then I still have to take and like when you buy the suppressor, it comes with another brake. So basically I had to buy an extra brake is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So the brake that shipped with it is going to go on my bigger rifle, but I haven't like deconstructed that gun yet to like swap out the muzzle device on that. So I'm probably gonna take up the smaller caliber gun to my local gun range maybe next weekend.
Okay.
I was hoping to get out this weekend, but I'm not ready to do it yet. So I'm gonna maybe go up there and see how it goes, and there'll probably be videos or something of that. But I'm super jazzed, and like again, like it's so funny because I invested so much money in optics and rangefinders and lasers and bipods and tripods and ballistic calculators and anemometers and all this other shit that I bought, right? I even bought a chronograph. And it's like this is the one thing that most people do first because it just makes shooting so much more pleasurable. And it's one of those things where again, like once you start shooting suppressed in any capacity, it is an addiction because it makes it just so much. It makes it so much better. So like when we go to the range, and there's people who sit up next to us that don't have suppressors, it's kind of like, guys, we're over here on the end for a reason. Like go away. Like we don't want your noise over here. Like we don't want this. We're men of culture, as we like to say to each other.
Right.
We're gentlemen. So anyway. I'm super pumped for this. This, like I said, it's supposed to be the best of the best, and just super jazzed to try it. So more to come.
Cool. All right.
I don't want to travel this week.
Where are you going?
Austin. By the time this comes out, I think I will be on my way home. Actually.
Okay. So you have to leave soon then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Sure do.
Ah.
So get us out of here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch the last period of the hockey game. Hey, doingthebest.com. You know what I'm gonna say. You can find all the show notes, all the links, social shit, all that wonderful stuff. And hey, thanks for listening.